Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action. Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Dan here from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. I am joined by Scott and Lucas, and we are here to talk Royal Rumble 2022.
Still feels weird hearing someone say 2022, but we'll get used to it, I'm sure.
It does sound made up, doesn't it, really?
It does,
like
yeah.
Some alternate universe thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we said, we are here to talk Royal Rumble predictions. As you can see, there is no Rob today, but he has sent us in his predictions. So, should we just get straight into Royal Rumble predictions then?
Let's do it, man. It feels like it's been a while, but weirdly enough, we've had 2 pay-per-views this month, and it still feels like it was a while. So, yeah.
Actually, we've had no pay-per-views. We've had premium live events, actually.
That's it. I was literally earlier thinking, I was like, what are they called again? So I've forgotten it already. Please.
To be fair, they probably will in a month or two. So,
yeah.
So, we are going to kick things off with the match between the It couple and the Grit couple. That's Miz and Maryse taking on Edge and Beth Phoenix.
Is Edge wearing Michael Jackson's Thriller jacket there?
Probably. And I think Beth Phoenix looks like she's been to Amy Winehouse's hairdresser. So.
She's got this like Viking look or something going on there, isn't she? Like she never looked like that as a Glamazon before, did she? So
no. So let's roll the dice. See who's going to go first. It is number. Oh,
it's 2 in there.
Hey!
Number 45. Number 45.
45. It is number 1. So me.
Number 1. Okay. Oh, do you want to give Rob's one first then?
Yeah. So Rob has gone for Miz and Maryse.
Okay.
Now, part of me is inclined to agree with Rob. But I also think that it could go the Edge and Beth way.
That is some great analysis there.
I said Edge and Beth, didn't I? Oh, for goodness sake, there we go. Right, so sorry. Miz and Maryse.
Either way, someone's going to win, is what you're saying, yeah?
Pretty much, yeah.
Starting to sound like Michael Owen, mate.
Unless it's a no contest, then
it could be. It could be, yeah.
So, but that's a bonus point, and I'm not going to use one of them. So let's see. Edge and Beth. I think if they win, then obviously it's feud over. Then what do they do going into the next couple of events? Miz and Maryse win. I think you can then play this out a little bit more. So for that, I think I'm going to have to agree with Rob and go with Miz and Maryse to win.
Oh, it's a really tough one because it is whether or not the feud's going to continue, ain't it? And I think you're right. If Miz and Maryse win, it does because the babyfaces surely got to get their win back. But if they do, so it feels a bit weird to be one and done. Although it's not, though. It's already been part of a feud already, just Edge and Miz, ain't it? But why do they continue it? Do they really drag it out to Mania? That's a long time to drag this feud out. So. I'm really conscious of my terrible points tally at the moment as well. So I'm going to go with Miz and Maryse as well. Okay. Can't hear you there, Dan, if you said something. Look at your
I was just confirming you're going with Miz and Maryse. Sorry about that.
Okay.
My mic was on mute for some reason.
I don't know. It's hard to say now with WWE because I mean we live in a world where WrestleMania Backlash exists, so it's hard to like think that okay, this should go to Mania, that'll be it. If that makes sense. There might be another feud for Mania because obviously they've announced obviously the Chamber pay-per-view, POE,
yeah,
taking place obviously in Saudi Arabia. But obviously I think they're gonna have Fastlane, isn't it, usually for Mania have as well. So there's like after the Rumble, there's 2 more pay-per-views.
Yeah,
2 more events before WrestleMania itself. So could be a case of this to be it, and then they move on. But then I think because Edge won the first one, kind of they're stuck with the Miz needing to win this one, I'd say. And I guess because they're going down this whole reality kind of TV arc, obviously Miz's reality show is still going on. And I think it would be better for him to win, to get his win back. It's a bit 50-50 booking, I guess. But I don't know where they'd go from it afterwards, but it's an interesting story anyway. So Miz and Maryse.
I'm enjoying the feud.
Yeah, Miz and Maryse to win, I think.
We've actually got a comment here as well that pretty much agrees with us. Johnny Black, thank you very much for joining us, Johnny. Maybe Miz and Maryse will win with some sort of cheap shot, and then they will bring it to Mania because Edge cannot fit into another match there. Maybe they can spread out, over the months without going into having a match, at Fastlane. One of them gets a night off, one of them gets just as another mini feud, and then like the other one reignites the feud or something like that. I could kind of see Miz kind of playing like that. Edge is kind of doing something else, and then maybe Edge is in like a title match or something like that, and Miz costs him to kind of bring it back. But it feels like a Mania match to me, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do kind of continue it.
Yes, it's one of those where I thought, they may do, say, like a singles match here with like Edge and Miz, then maybe do like a Maryse and Beth match. At the next
That's a good way to drag it out,
then, and then obviously it leads into the mixed tag match eventually. But I mean,
with their kids involved,
possibly, yeah. I mean, to be fair, it could still go to like to Mania as maybe a singles match with like Edge and Miz with the women in their corners, perhaps, or even the other way around. Like that could, I guess, throw everyone having like Beth and Maryse in there as a singles match. But as I got to agree with what Johnny was saying there. Actually, so I don't really know where else they would go with Edge from here for Mania, though. Because
that's what I was trying to think. Like, what can you picture Edge doing? This feels like the perfect thing. It's just that, it's strange timing. It's always hard to do these kind of things at this point of Royal Rumble and this season, and not knowing how many PLEs are going to be in the way. And one thing I just want to quickly mention, I think Maryse is great. I've always really liked Maryse, and I think she's playing her role very, very well. The kind of scared thing, and obviously the brick attack and stuff like that, fantastic. But her kind of acting like the scared thing doesn't match up with the Maryse that was the wrestler, because she was Divas champion. She was the world champion, you could say, of the women's division. She was just a straight up, I'm a wrestler and I'm really good. She never really, she might have done a little bit of scare tactics as a heel every now and then, but she was never this kind of, I'm not really a wrestler type thing. Although I think she's playing it fantastically and it fits for this storyline. And a lot of the stories she gets in with Miz, it is kind of jarring to see like her act like she wasn't ever on Beth's level. I know they're trying to make Beth look big and scary, and it works for the purpose of this storyline, but it's sometimes a bit too much acting like she wasn't. I felt she was fantastic and she was presented very, very well first time round. So it doesn't really add up for me, that, but hey.
Yeah, and Johnny's just followed up here as well with, I agree, if Rollins wins the Universal title and then have a match with Edge, Miz can cost him the match. Well, we'll get on to those predictions for the Universal Championship.
Will it be Rollins? Yeah.
A little bit later on, but for now, we do have, talking of Seth Rollins, we have Mrs. Seth Rollins, and that is Becky Lynch, defending her Raw Women's Championship against friend of the channel, Doudrop. Now, if you haven't already, guys, go back and check out our interview with Doudrop. It was a lovely chat with a super, super nice person. Nothing like this character that she's portraying at the moment on TV.
So ironically, she's gone back to what we were saying we missed her being, just as she won me round, telling me, like with the first version of Doudrop. So it's a bit, but hey, I'm just, she's a great performer. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's great to see her getting used as well. So
Yeah.
right, let's see who's going first for this one. It is number 2.
That's me. All right. Okay. Well,
So-
I'm going to say...
Rob's gone Becky, by the way, for this one.
Okay, yeah, well, that's where I'm going to go as well. I think Becky, it doesn't make any sense to take the title off her. As much as I'm happy to see Doudrop in a prominent position, it is the kind of age-old tradition of being someone needs to challenge the champion at Rumble, kind of like distraction from the main feud. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes they win, don't get me wrong, but this is very much what Kevin Owens was last year for Roman Reigns. Doudrop is that for Becky Lynch. Hey, if I'm wrong, that'd be fantastic. It'd be exciting to see her with the title and see where they shake it up for Mania. But I personally think they are keeping Becky in that kind of title picture. So, yeah.
Yeah. It feels. I don't know, because obviously I haven't watched weekly TV now in quite some time. It does feel a bit, like what you're saying, just like it's just a feud to be done for the Rumble. You'd argue, though, obviously, I guess, Doudrop was technically the runner-up, so to speak, of the Queen's Crown tournament. And so you'd have to argue that at one point her name should have been in discussion for, obviously, to win that tournament. Obviously, that did go to Selena Vega. So you could argue that they were potentially looking at her for this spot for quite some time. It does feel, and we'll get to this, obviously, this bigger discussion when we obviously talk about the Women's Rumble match, but there is, like, a lot of options, for that winner now.
Yeah.
It's a real open field. And so, yeah, and obviously with them obviously having to need to fill that match anyway, potentially. So Doudrop could also be in the Rumble. So, yeah, but in saying that, it just doesn't seem that Becky Lynch will lose to anyone other than a couple of people, really. And so I'd have to go with Becky Lynch to retain.
So we've got one comment here quickly as well. WWE makes it feel like Becky's going to lose, but in the end, she will take the victory.
Yeah, they constantly do this because, like, this is what people dislike about their storytelling. They constantly put people in positions where they are treated and presented like underdogs, but they're not underdogs. And WWE see the story really, really well. Like, that's the thing. For years, for the past, 20, 30, 40 years, they put a legacy up on this. But now they just switch it the other way to the extent that you can't ever really feel pleasure for the babyfaces winning stuff because there's never usually odds that they've got a topple anymore. It's always a case of it's default, they're going to win. And obviously, like, I'm a massive John Cena fan, but that model that they're using was using him quite a lot. And they built him up as an underdog, always fighting from behind, blah, blah. But then if you're an underdog who's winning more than you're losing, you're not really an underdog anymore. And Becky Lynch is in that position now where, she was able to win the championship off Bianca Belair in like 10 seconds, come back after like a year out. That's how she started this underdog run. Like as this, but obviously they've moved the character around a little bit, I guess. The past 6 months. I don't really like the presentation of it recently, I'm being deadly honest. But I guess they're trying to move away from kind of the man kind of stuff. Because that's problematic potentially with obviously all the stuff with Ric Flair, basically. And obviously trying to the man gimmick as well was so linked obviously to Charlotte Flair as well, like that feud that they had obviously 2 years ago. But yeah, I don't get why they're presenting her the way they present her. But yeah, it does always seem like they set her up every month so that she's going to lose a title, and she doesn't. But I guess that they could argue that's their trick here, I guess. They're good at tricking us. But then you feel a bit like, like, who was the last person that Becky Lynch faced? Liv Morgan, there we are. You just feel that people are getting hard done by, I think, each month. Each Andrew comes around, and then they get made to look like a big deal for like a couple of weeks, and they lose.
Yeah. It does feel like a formula, and that we end up just being like, and we said it a lot last month, last pay-per-view, PLE even, that like eventually you end up just not rooting for the person because you're like, well, they're not going to win it then, are they? They need to strike while the iron's hot. Another comment here. Vinny?
Good luck tomorrow, mate.
And Back again with Johnny Black. Plus, I feel it's going to be Becky's best defense in this title reign. It's bold cut. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the match is going to bang anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great match.
It's cool to see two people from this side of the pond as well being featured in a prominent role. It's always nice to see that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, do appreciate that.
And for me, it's got to be. I think Becky Lynch is retaining. I don't see anything other than a Becky retention here. Whether it's clean or not is a different matter. But yeah, Becky. I think Becky will definitely retain. So
yeah,
cool. So let's move on now to the next match, which is Brock Lesnar taking on Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. This one, obviously, Paul Heyman in the corner of Brock Lesnar, MVP in the corner of Bobby Lashley. Let's see who's going first this time. It is number 2.
Okay.
So Rob has gone for Brock Lesnar.
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, another Mania type match. It feels like, so we are getting quite spoiled with this card. Another strange timing one, but hey. It's hard because day one, obviously, the way all that changed, the feud with Roman, we were like, is that going to Mania? It kind of feels like it is now, but obviously, what was the original plan? This is going to play into a lot of predictions, I think, but things have changed. So I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley because I feel like, A, I want it to happen. B, I think Lashley as champ is, kind of not overdue because it weren't that long ago that he was champ, but it makes sense for him to be a 2-time champ at this point, I think. And the match will be cool. It'll make Lashley look good. And obviously it can be at the kind of, cause of some shenanigans, whether it's Heyman turning on Brock or it's, something to the Usos where they're banned in the other match, but they're not banned here or something like that, or even Roman Reigns doing the dirty work himself. I feel like something's going to go on here. Not going to bonus point it, but I do feel like Lashley's going to win, and that should get out a jail kind of clause of not making Lesnar look bad by just losing clean before he has a big match with Roman. So some sort of shenanigans I think will play part, and I think Bobby Lashley will win. And again, because I feel like he probably would have been winning the title a little while ago. I originally thought it might have been Owens. I can't remember who I predicted last month before the match changed, but or even when it did. But yeah, it clearly wasn't the plan. So someone other than Brock was going to have the title. Again, they could have changed their mind since. I think it's been a happy coincidence the way it's worked out, but it makes sense to take the title off Brock in my opinion. So Bobby Lashley for me.
And one of your good mates as well, who again we recently interviewed.
My pal, yeah.
And ironically speaking on here about why a Brock Lesnar match hasn't happened. Well, it is
about
now
to.
Finally happening. So we throw over again to Lucas.
I don't think the match is happening.
Whoa, that's a big call.
I don't think the match is happening. Or like if it does, it won't start.
Right.
Like I think it's going to be, it's difficult because let's face it, Brock isn't going to wrestle for more than 5 minutes, and I can't see them to do the kind of story of the match that they want this to be done. That rule, it just doesn't, it's just the rule with Brock. He won't wrestle for more than 5 minutes, basically, like 5, 6, 7 minutes, even 8 minutes, wasn't it, in a multi-man match, like at day one, like. He won't wrestle more than 5 minutes. And I think they know that they'd be kind of making Lashley look stupid by eating a loss like that. Then also, how do you have Brock lose? So I actually recently rewatched this match. And one of the only wrestling matches I've watched this month, actually. But when Brock lost to Big Show back in Survivor Series 2002, also for the WWE Championship. And Heyman was obviously heavily involved in that. And again, that was a 5-minute match. So the only way that I see Brock losing is Paul Heyman turning on him. But I don't know if they're going to want to kind of make... Because in some ways it's like because usually like when this happens, it's with a second tier belt. So for instance, someone like last year, wasn't it, when Lashley lost the United States Championship to then go on and win the WWE Championship. But you never really get it when someone loses a WWE Championship to go for the other World Championship. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
But it obviously wasn't the original plan, though. So that's, they wouldn't usually do that. But I think, strange.
Okay, so if we go on this not being the original plan, then what do you think was the original plan? Lashley was meant to win.
Yeah, I think Lashley was meant to be champ.
Do you think that too, Dan?
So you hear so many conflicting things. I think the only one that wasn't named to win at any point was Kevin Owens. I think the original plan was that they were going to have Big E win it, and then lead obviously into the Rumble. Maybe have Lashley win the Rumble, face Big E at Mania, and then Roman Brock at Mania.
Something like that, yeah.
So if we're going off that basis, I mean, we have to obviously wait for a Rumble person prediction, but assuming Big E's going to win the Rumble and Lashley will win this, or have they abandoned the Big E Lashley match altogether?
Maybe.
That's the thing, and I think it is that. I think they most likely abandoned that match altogether now, and I just can't see Brock having a 28-day title reign. Like no defenses, no nothing, just like that. But
we had a 504-day reign with about.
It's a short one.
Probably.
It's really difficult. So yeah, because basically I'm just thinking, it's just not very Brock for him to lose. And last month we bet against Brock, and we lost.
Mind you, we won in the sense because
we
won in the sense of it was a great match though.
Fantastic.
But
we on this panel, we said no, we stuck to our guns. I think, and we all said this, and then it was the case Brock Lesnar won. So this time, do I just stick to the guts there and just say Brock will win again? And the answer to that is being determined. I don't know. Brock. Yeah, Brock's gonna retain. There we go.
Okay.
Right. So it's come back round to me now. Yes. It's really tricky. See, I can see what you were saying from before where the match may not necessarily get started or there may be some kind of dodgy finish. Which way do I go? It is tricky because, I think that Lashley being on Raw and on TV the whole time, I think would therefore benefit the title. Because we obviously don't know what Lesnar's contract is like. Because do they want to use like all of these dates now? Because let's not forget, since he won the title, he's been on pretty much every Raw, couple of SmackDowns as well. So it's really, really tricky, this one. Which way do I go? I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Either way, it would have been a guy whose initials are BL. So.
You just let it naturally be like, and then see where you go from there. Okay, so with that thinking then, I guess to both of you really, why are you? What happens with the title then? Do we go title versus title? Is that what you think is going to happen at Mania, or
no? So I reckon that they are going to have Lesnar maybe lose inside the chamber.
Okay, right. Ooh.
So he could get maybe pinned like 3 people inside the chamber.
That's a good call. That is a good call. Yeah.
I too reckon Lesnar will lose it inside the chamber, but with Reigns obviously entering the structure somehow.
Like as someone's leaving or something.
Potentially, yeah. And obviously spear, then whoever's over in that match obviously hits their finish 1, 2, 3, and that can get the title. The chamber being in Saudi in particular as well. I think Brock's the attraction in Saudi.
Yeah.
Above Lashley. And then it's just the fact they've got Fastlane as well. They wanted to like mess about with anything as well. Like it's crazy times living. Crazy times.
Yeah, don't forget SmackDown WrestleMania edition or whatever it was called. A lot of possibilities.
We'll have a title match at this time.
Yeah, well, maybe the 24/7 at least.
We're going to throw over to the comments again. Johnny Black, Bobby Lashley, such a beast all these years, and especially now feel as though he deserves to win, but also feel like Lesnar can't lose this exact match and has to win. Pretty much, yeah, what we've been saying, I guess.
Yeah, I agree, Johnny.
Same kind of thing.
So, did Rob go for Bobby?
Rob went for Brock.
Oh, mate, I'm the only one going for Bobby Lashley. Oh, okay.
It could be good for you, Scott. It could be good for you.
It could be, but it hasn't been in the past few months, has it? So... yeah, okay.
So we did speak briefly about Roman Reigns and about the Universal title, and Roman Reigns will defend that championship against former Shield buddy Seth freaking Rollins, to give him his correct name now. So yeah, let's see who is going to go first and predict this one. It is going to be number 4. Is that normally Rob, isn't it?
Yeah, usually Rob. Yeah.
So Rob is going to go for Roman Reigns to win this one.
Okay.
Right. So now it comes round to me. So Roman, Seth. So there is a way that you could get to Roman Brock at Mania with Brock as WWE champion, but Roman not as Universal champion. And that could be to have Seth win the title here, maybe through the help of Kevin Owens or Brock Lesnar, then have Roman insert himself into the Rumble, win the Rumble, and that sets your Mania match up. That's another way they could do things. But I don't think it's going to go down like that. I think we're going to see...
You're teasing us there.
I think we're going to see some spears. I think we're going to see some curb stomp attempts.
Yep.
I think we're going to, in the end, see a spear, a Superman punch, Seth Rollins staring up at the lights. 1, 2, 3. Still your reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion of the world, your tribal chief.
Are you after a job, mate? Now that Heyman's out of the picture, you're trying to, wait, I'll get in there.
Paul Heyman. There you go. So yeah, Roman Reigns.
Okay. See, I completely agree with you. I think Roman Reigns is going to be it. But just quickly touching on like your kind of theory there that you didn't go with. I also wouldn't go with it. I also toyed around with, maybe Lesnar. Yeah, it's this match where there's a screw. You know, Lesnar's the one that stops because Lesnar's a babyface, sort of, and Reigns is a heel, sort of. Like, it's still a weird feud because of the Heyman dynamic. That's what's kind of confused it. So I think it's more likely to be the way I've said if there's any kind of shenanigans and someone losing. But I think, obviously, it's still possible that Brock does screw, or Heyman maybe screws thing. Because this is, again, where they're doing the whole no Usos around and all. Like, they could have stopped Brock, maybe, you know, so... That kind of tempts me, but at the same time, to give up on Reigns' extraordinary reign like this seems silly. So I think it's best if Reigns is the champion. And then, you know, if it does go to Mania, I also think Brock shouldn't do it because Brock shouldn't be the one who benefits from the 600 odd day that it'll probably be by then, you know. So, yeah, I don't think that will happen, but I can kind of see the temptation on WWE's side of maybe doing it that way. But yeah, I think to take the title off Reigns would be ludicrous, even though it kind of makes sense in the story-wise. You could do the reverse to what I've said. Yeah.
So Roman Reigns, you're going with, yeah?
Indeed.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, Roman Reigns has been champion now since August 2020. And obviously we've seen the character... we've seen this character develop and just become probably one of the best things in wrestling, let's be real. And I don't think it ends at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view in 2022. As much as of a weird sense that is, like, someone to have that belt for that long. I think, if we go back to the original plan we had anyway, like, I think Brock would have been the best option at day one if that obviously match was to have happened. But I think now we are always looking at Mania. And I think as much as there's that kind of way round it, with obviously Reigns winning the Rumble, I think you've got rid of a very kind of big, you traded a very, very big moment for someone and buried it under something, if that makes sense.
I mean, they've done that plenty of times though,
Yeah,
but I think that's I was going to say the Reigns thing, winning the Rumble, is a babyface move as well, which is why I don't think that's the case either. So,
yeah,
they could do it with Lesnar.
Yeah, they could
potentially, but no, I think obviously now that we when we discussed what we discussed regarding the Chamber, and the fact that Brock's never been in the Chamber as well, because he kind of
don't get paid enough.
That, but I mean, he was around in the company when they were first obviously brought in.
Yeah,
they were brought in. People might not know this. They were brought in as part of the Raw brand. It was Eric Bischoff's creation, and he was the general manager, and it was a Raw thing, wasn't it? And Brock Lesnar was a SmackDown superstar.
Well, that's it. I always picture. I can see him in there, but it's the computer game now that you think about it. Because back at that time, it was new to the game, and everyone wanted to be Brock because it was exciting and new as well. So, like, you saying, I'm like, yo, you're right. He's never been in a chamber.
No,
I mean, in my world, he's been in it a million times, but in the real world, never.
But obviously, like in terms of, and when he came back to the company, he was already the attraction itself. Like, you didn't need Brock in the Chamber to sell tickets, because the Chamber sold tickets, and so did obviously Brock Lesnar. So you kept them separate, and it made sense. And obviously, he's had Hell in a Cell matches since his return. He's had cage matches too, which also might be where people get confused. Where he's had matches inside a structure, since returning. But this is, if they were to go to that, it would make sense. But anyway, it's my long way of saying I think Roman Reigns is winning. I think it's the right decision to do, and obviously I think it'll be a very, very excellent match. And it, as we enter 10 years since the Shield started as well, like,
whoa,
it's getting there, isn't it? It's making you realise how hard these guys have worked, really. Since that amazing debut, all those years ago. To where we are now, obviously, where they've both been multiple-time world champions and main evented pay-per-views or PLEs, for the company. And here we are; they're at the top of their game, wrestling each other once more. But I don't think there's enough in the tank of Seth Rollins' camp for him to win this one. So I think it'll be Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and let's not forget as well, though, Roman Reigns, has never beaten Seth Rollins in a one-on-one match for a title as well.
Wow, that's
okay. So that ends now then.
Yeah, pretty much. Like everything else.
As Heyman used to say, that's the spoiler.
Yeah. We got a comment again from Johnny. I think Rollins will counter a spear with a pedigree, take back the title on Raw, and then take the title. I'm guessing take the title back to Raw, and then Brock has a rivalry with Roman on SmackDown. Title match at Mania is dumb to do. Yeah, I don't think they're going to put all their eggs in the basket of the title unification. Because it takes away from one of the having the two title matches at Mania. Unless they do Roman and Brock on night one of Mania for the title, and then the Royal Rumble winner gets the winner of that.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to how Wrestle Kingdom do it a lot nowadays. New Japan even for Wrestle Kingdom. So, yeah.
Right, so let's now get on to the thing we've all been waiting for, the Royal Rumble matches themselves. Let's start with the men. Let's give the women the main event here. So we'll start with the men's Royal Rumble. At time of recording, the participants so far in the men's Royal Rumble are Omos, who else have we got here? We got Kofi Kingston, Sami Zayn, Dominic and Rey Mysterio, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss. I can't see who that
Austin
is.
Theory.
Austin Theory, I think that is. Yeah. There's Johnny Knoxville,
The winner,
Cody Rhodes
obviously.
for a minute. Damian Priest, Big E, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Sheamus, more TBC.
Yeah.
So what we are going to do on this one is we are going to each pick who we think is going to win the Royal Rumble, who we think is going to get the most eliminations, who we think is going to be the first person eliminated, and then we are going to spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel, baby. It's like Raw Roulette's back.
To determine which number we get, and that will be for both Royal Rumble matches.
Okay. It's the only points up for grab where there is no kind of thinking behind it. It is just pure luck, which is wild. But yeah, we got enough to try and to get bonus points on here as well. So hopefully it's where I start clawing back.
Indeed. So let's have a look and see who is going to go first with this one. It is number 1. So that is me.
Okay.
Right. So for clarification, Rob has gone with Kevin Owens as the winner of the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Although he has caveated it by saying he would love for Cesaro to win. He reckons that Omos is going to have the most eliminations. And Madcap Moss will be the first person eliminated. He also reckons that Ali will be out first if he is in the Rumble.
I think that's too obvious, though, isn't it? Like punishment. But,
yeah. So should we give Rob his number first?
Oh yeah. Let's do that first. Then.
Right. So Rob's number is. Let's see.
What do we want him to get?
1 or 2. Well, 1 or 2 were actually good numbers last year.
Yeah, not bad, is it?
So Rob will be cheering on number 6 or 14.
So
May just
number
head
6
into
for
14.
Rob, eh?
Oh,
14. Okay.
Just spun into number 14.
Okay.
I actually watched, and I can't remember who made it, so apologies, but look it up on YouTube. A great video basically explaining how the number 14 is cursed. It's over the top and whatever, but definitely check it out, guys. Look it up.
Well, it wasn't cursed when a certain Shinsuke Nakamura won the Royal Rumble.
Well, what they say, though, they go into basically saying, like, but his career kind of went downhill after that. The AJ match wasn't that good. Like, they do go quite deep on it. Like, there's deaths involved and stuff like that. But they also mention, like, but at the end, they're like, there are a few 14s that completely break that. But who knows? Will something bad happen to him? But it's quite interesting, like, the 14 thing. So, yeah, definitely check it out. I can't remember who made it, but shout out to whoever it was.
Cool.
But yeah, the team numbers as a whole just tend to be the least popular ones that have won throughout the history of the Rumble match. Obviously, there's a lucky number 27 that everyone knows. That still has 4 winners to this day. Number 1, though, has had 3 winners, obviously, most recently last year. And number 2 has had 2 victors from it. So it's interesting. The team numbers do seem to be the less popular ones, with the only team number to have more than 1 winner being number 19. And that was achieved within a 3-year period in 2013 and 2015. Both number 19 to 1. Those respective matches.
Someone was it?
Sheamus and Reigns? Or I can't remember.
I think this
Reigns
is
was 2015, and I think it was Sheamus, wasn't it? 2013?
Yeah. Maybe. Because I think they said it's coming up for 10 years since he won the Rumble.
Wow.
Next year. Yeah, so 13, yeah.
2013. Let me just double check on my lovely list. I've got the winner of the Rumble that year was John Cena.
Oh, John Cena.
Sheamus won the year before, entering from number 22. Not far. Yeah, they went a couple of years basically with those numbers, and then Batista won the following year with number 28, and then Roman Reigns won from number 19.
Right.
So yeah, there's some interesting things we can delve into. But right. So, who's starting? You, Dan?
Dan.
Me. Yeah. Right. So This is tricky because obviously we don't know the full field at the moment.
Yeah,
so
but
I'm
you
just
can
gonna-
guess a lot of them, can't we?
So-
like apart from the surprises who barely win, but
I think if we flick this back up, I reckon the winner for me is going to be our good friend, a man who we did interview while he was WWE champion. The man himself, Big E, for me, is going to be the winner. I think I am probably with Rob. I think Omos is going to get the most eliminations in this one. And for the first person to be eliminated, this is tricky. So, let me have a look. Who have we got at the minute? Right, I'm not going to go. See, I don't think I'm going to go for any of those that's on screen at the minute. First person eliminated, I reckon, is going to be Robert Roode.
wow, yeah, poor guy. But I can see it happening. Yeah,
Won't be a glorious rumble for him, I don't think.
nah.
And so we now move on to my number for the rumble, which is where's it gonna stop? 30's coming round. No, it's gone past 30.
It's been and gone.
21. Not bad. Or 23.
Oh,
23 for a lucky number.
I know, I was going to say
21.
that. Oh, so close, so close.
21. I'm happy enough for 21. Lucas, what's the stats on 21?
So number 21. I don't know if he's ever won a Rumble, actually. Number 21. Yeah, number 21 has never ever won a Royal Rumble match. So it would be
feels like a number that would.
Virgin winning number.
Wow, I can see it happening.
So yeah, it's never won. 22 has won in 2 occasions. In 2002 with Triple H and 2012 with Sheamus, as we just discussed. Number 20 has also never won either. So it would be an interesting one. Obviously, the last time that they did a new number, they have done a new number winning for a few years, where they've had obviously number 10 won in 2019, the first time ever. 2020 number 16 won, and 2018 number 14 won. Obviously, Shinsuke Nakamura, like we discussed. So they have been kind of choosing new numbers, as they obviously they maybe have realised that there's 30 numbers. Why do we do like a handful of them?
Yeah.
So yeah, Dan, not a bad number potentially.
Yeah, and don't forget, guys, these numbers are for both Rumbles, so it's for the men and women's Rumble.
Yeah. Cool. Right, so I've kind of blanked out on what everyone said so far. So, Rob, who did Rob think will win?
So Rob has said Kevin Owens,
and
win.
You said just say the winners for now, just so I can kind of get around that.
Big E.
See, they're the two I was kind of thinking. Can I have a quick look at the graphic again, please, mate? And a consonant. And a vowel,
consonant, please, Carol.
And a consonant,
please.
There
we go.
See, part of me thinks Priest would make sense, but being US champ, not quite.
Johnny Knoxville, mate.
Knoxville, yeah.
He's blatantly only in there to throw Sami Zayn out, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not going to go with Sami Zayn. I think he's a good role to do that embarrassing first person out, but I don't think they're going to start the match with the two of them. That would be a weird way to start. That's got to happen somewhere in the middle of it, you know?
Johnny Knoxville is just going to get like yeeted out by Omos or something. Just how far can you throw
Yeah,
it?
maybe he will. Maybe he will. Right, winner, I'm going to say Kevin Owens as well. I think, but then I just think of Mania. I have no idea how this fits in with Mania, but you know, rewards for re-signing, and he's been fantastic lately. Him and Seth are hilarious. Even if it is just simply that, him and Seth go for the title, but then no, because Lashley, no, I don't know. Oh!
And well, Kevin Owens, another guy, obviously, that we interviewed as well.
Of course, of course.
There we go. So,
but yeah,
we're sticking. We're not just doing this, by the way, just because. Oh yeah, we can plug this interview. And
yeah, we only pick people. Like
he also mentioned Damian.
I did mention.
So we might as well throw that one up as well.
Check out the interviews. Right, yeah. Who did I just say? I just said Kevin Owens. Oh, Kevin Owens. No, but Big E, I kind of feel like E makes sense, but he's had his moment. But it makes sense as well. I can kind of see that. E, Priest, Owens, they all kind of feel possible. But hey, I've locked it in now. Kevin Owens is winning the Rumble for me, the men's Rumble. Right. So the next up is most eliminated.
Most eliminations. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Omos as well. I think it's kind of an easy choice, safe bet, you could say. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Omos as well. And going for first eliminated. Now it's always a tough one because is it part of storyline? Is it burying? What is it? I'm actually gonna go for. Oh, I don't know. I kind of tempted to do Austin Theory because I feel like he's going to have something memorable in this. But then that something I feel like could be simply a Rumble selfie with loads of people in the background before he gets thrown out. So in order to do that, going out first, yes, sometimes there's about 5 or 6 people in the ring. Before that, can I have a quick look at the graphic again, please, Carol?
1 second. There you go.
Okay, right. I mean, it's probably someone not even in this.
Probably. That's why I went. So far, we've got Madcap Moss and Robert
who
Roode.
else is on the roster these days?
Not a lot.
Yeah. All right.
Don't forget as well, you got people from NXT possibly.
Yeah, maybe. But then that would be really weird burial, wouldn't it? You know, it would feel like anyway. All right, I'm gonna go. Screw it, I'll go Austin Theory.
Theory.
I don't know, but yeah, because that kind of scenario could still happen after like 5 entries. You know, 6. Oh no, you'd need a few people in the ring. Oh, flipping heck. I've done it, haven't I? But anyway, Austin Theory.
Austin Theory. And let's see what your number is going to be. It is...
Run about there. Come on. 17, is it? 17, surely. That
17.
feels like a good number. Is that a good number, Lucas? Fill me in.
Right, number 17 would also be a Virgin winning number.
Oh, okay.
Closest you're going to get to that is number 16 in 2020, and number 18 in 1996. Going back to Shawn Michaels' double winning years. Right. So interesting. That's 2 Virgin numbers that come up back to back with that.
Yeah,
21 and 17. Like I said, the team numbers overall don't seem to be the ones with the most amount of winners, but it does seem to be the ones that they have been looking at the past kind of decade or so as winning numbers, particularly with there being the 2 Rumble matches now taking place. And obviously we're going to have more of these numbers kind of come up. Yeah, before we kind of go into this, like, do you think that they are aware of this number thing, or like, do they go in thinking, okay, this person's going to, you know, do they plan the match of like, this person's going to win and it has to be from this position? Or do they, you know, I think, because obviously, I'd assume that when you're in at number 1, they have to decide that you're going to go number 1, basically. Yeah. But when it gets to like you being number 12 versus number 13, you know, will they kind of say, oh, well, you know, number 13
let's just move them over one more. Yeah,
number 13 won the first Rumble, so we don't want anyone winning that from that number. You have to be number 14, you know, or you have to be number 12.
Yeah.
Like, do you think there's or do they think they don't care?
I think every now and then.
That.
I think they do one of them. I think every now and then they probably do. If they want to boost 27 as the dominant number again, or something like that, if it starts to lose kind of power, or if they do want to freshen it up and put a new one in, perhaps. But yeah, probably not that often. But I think every now and then they probably do.
Well, interestingly, you know, 27 overall, 27 is now tied with number 24.
So maybe they'll push 24 purposely for that.
So there's 4 winners from each number.
Yeah,
24 and 27, and 30 has won 3 occasions. 29's won twice, and 28 also won twice. So basically, between I think 25's won actually. 25 has won once actually. Hulk Hogan back in 1990 won from that number. So basically, between 25, the last kind of 6 numbers we could say, that contains 4, 7, 11, 13, 15. 16 winners, you know, in the last 6 numbers alone. So entrant later does favour this match. So with you being 17, Dan's 21, What was Rob? He was 14, wasn't he?
14.
Shinsuke's number.
Quite a lot.
So, yeah.
Lucas, you're probably going to get a high up one now, but
well, we only got me to go, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll do you, and then we know we've got a few comments coming in. Thank you very much for that. We'll get to those in a moment. But yeah, we'll go into Lucas, and then keep your comments coming. By the way, really do appreciate you joining in, and if you haven't already, subscribe.
Yeah, we'll name drop people as well. So like you want shout outs as well. We're happy to do those for things that's sensible. Oh, I've said I realised Vinny might be watching, so we don't know what we're going to get now.
Forget we don't have to show him or read them out, mate. If we see his name come up, we just press the.
Well, we've already given him, we've already humoured him earlier tonight.
Yeah.
So,
right, so here we go. So the 2021 Royal Rumble match winner for the men is going to be
Edge, because it's 2022 now.
Oh yeah, 2022.
See, we slipped up. Knew it happened.
Yeah,
there we go. I'll throw it back up. There we go.
Again, so it's really difficult because I'm trying to think of big surprise kind of entrant / people who haven't been announced that are going to end up in this match. And so I've eliminated for winners. I've eliminated pretty much the entire back row, and I've eliminated Sheamus and Styles, Priest. From that,
I actually feel like
Johnny
Styles is
Knoxville.
Yeah, he's still in with a shout.
Yeah,
I really don't know this company anymore.
Do you not think he looks like Cody Rhodes in that picture?
He does, yeah.
He does, doesn't it? Yeah.
I actually think AJ's a good shout, because he's tied in with the Rumble as far as coming back, debuting, and to win it, kind of would, Who knows?
He could be the one to throw Omos out as well.
Yeah.
Although I reckon that's going to be Reggie. I think Reggie will drop kick him out or something.
Right.
I don't know where you. I mean, I'm just saying that he almost has not been announced. Just people know, but
yeah, he's got to be in it, so.
Yeah, and because Rob said that he thinks he's going to have the most eliminations as well.
Oh, so okay, yeah, but just
that's where I saw the name. Yeah.
So, it's really hard. It's really, really difficult, this match.
Tough.
Because, like you say, I'm leaning towards Owens because obviously just signed his new contract, and we've all been very. I think it's hard because I have to say, Rebellious Noise is a very pro Kevin Owens podcast. There's very little that man does that we will say we dislike, and that is collectively all four of us. I think we think the guy is fantastic. And yeah, he has a story about his relationship with Triple H, and that was a great interview, obviously done by Dan back in November at Wembley, at a time where potentially he may be looking at contract options for other companies, but was he chosen to remain? But is his loyalty just getting big matches? Is that part of it? There is a clear Rumble story for him too. I think he's been hard done by with a lot of his booking decisions and stuff. But it's just, how's he fit in with this Lashley, Lesnar?
Exactly. Even though I went through him, that is where I'm worried, because I just don't know where it would go.
But then we do have the Chamber next month, where we could see this all shift, and are we going to end up with Owens and Lashley? And then we could even see Big E win something to get in there, make it maybe a triple threat or multi-man scenario thing at Mania potentially.
Yeah.
So there's lots of options here. There's always different crossroads. So yeah, I'm going to go with Kevin Owens to win the Royal Rumble match itself. Then in terms of most eliminations, it's hard because almost hasn't been announced, and that's a bit concerning because you'd think they'd announce him. Why wouldn't you?
Probably on Raw.
You're having a massive battle royal with loads of people. Why wouldn't you announce someone who's 7'4" and because it was always the case. Big Show was always one of the first people they used to announce Rumbles because it's it makes sense. Going way back to the days of Andre the Giant winning all these battle royals back in the 70s and 80s, and then obviously people like Big John stuff. But the Giants have always been the attraction in these matches, and they focus so much on it. How many times over the years have you heard Michael Cole or JR or King have to go crazy over Mark Henry and Undertaker and Kane and all the other big guys from back then? Why wouldn't you announce him? There's no incentive not to announce him, for the match, in my opinion. And the fact they haven't either says that he's either not entering the match at all, or if he does, it's going to be like a blink and you miss it kind of thing. Perhaps he'll eliminate himself kind of thing, something like that. Which is why they don't want to put too much effort on him being an attraction. So I'm going to differ from this opinion, because also as well, like he could eliminate like 4 people and still look strong before getting eliminated.
Yeah,
so you could have the whole like coming in, eliminate like 4 people like straight away, then they all team up obviously on him, and then he gets eliminated, and then like the person with the most elimination could only get like 5, let's say. And you got to remember there's people in there like Randy Orton potentially if he gets announced for it. Just people who just generally speaking do eliminate a lot of people. Throughout the history of the match, like, there's always like, as much as there's always like the main guy who eliminates loads of people, there's always someone secondary to that main guy who sneaks in. Like I think Jericho eliminates like 6 people, just from just being in the ring for like 40 minutes or so. So in saying that, I think that Kevin Owens will also get the most eliminations. I think if he comes in late and is able to do like a stunner fest, because I think, well, we got to remember this, they're a very social media influence company. I think having Kevin Owens do a stunner fest, and he could eliminate easily like 4 people.
Yeah.
And then he can come, if he goes down to like the final 4, he's got to eliminate at least 2 of those people, let's say. So that could easily get him up to like 6 eliminations, which could be enough for him to get the most. So let's go for Kevin Owens.
We're going to go Owens to be first out as well.
Yeah,
that links quickly before we move on, though. How I've said I think Austin Theory's getting a moment. I'm just not quite sure what it is, and I've gone for him a bit in the first one. I could also see him getting the most, and that being the selfie thing. Every time someone goes over the rope, selfie of them on the floor. So I could kind of see that as well. I just feel like he's going to have some sort of big role. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. In terms of who is first out, I had their name. I'm between 2 people. I'm between Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. The thing is, it's hard to know whether this first out thing is going to be a punishment or comedy, or whatever. It's hard to know which way they're going to go because we don't know who's the first 2. Which, by the way, WWE, I hope you don't spoil for us this year.
Yeah,
last year you did, and I understand maybe because obviously it was one of the 2 Rumbles that were done without a crowd, but hopefully this year they don't do it because it was really annoying. And for that reason, I will be kind of banishing myself from all WWE kind of media for at least the 2 days prior to it. I don't think it needs to be spoiled, personally. It was always exciting.
I don't either. Waiting
to hear the music, particularly when fans are in the arena. We get the countdown. Fans counting down the numbers and stuff. It is their most interactive match. This match, I'd say, or fan interaction. Fan involved match. Really, it's the most exciting time of the year. And it must be one hell of a match to have to plan each year and decide which way to do it. And so without knowing who the first 2 are, because the first 2 it's varied, isn't it, throughout the years? It's been a mix of things, throughout the years. But maybe I see them wanting to start off a bit more serious this year, and spotlight 2 just very good wrestlers essentially, particularly old people, and maybe people haven't worked together before, or maybe they have got a big return for number 2. Coming in, and obviously want to give them a spotlight. But if number 3 is someone, like a Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, I can see them being the person that once those 2 people in the ring have kind of had their little wrestling bit, and they turn to the goof in the ring kind of thing. They go, okay, my finisher, your finisher, throw him out, done. And then they get back to their little wrestling thing. Because I do think they have to be aware that this company is making a lot of noise with wrestling. A lot of noise on, and it's really pushing them to obviously up this wrestling content. So I think they're going to be wary of that. So I think the first person eliminated will be, let's go. I think Corbin makes better sense because some people might not even know what the other thing is, Madcap Moss is. So I would go for Happy Corbin to eliminate first.
Happy Corbin. Right, let's find out your number.
Okay, and I get my list up so I know how lucky or unlucky I am.
There we go. And here we go.
Okay.
Oh.
Lowing.
30's coming.
No,
22,
30's gone,
23,
been gone.
19 maybe. 19.
Wait, you got 19, didn't you, Dan?
19. No, I got.
Did anyone get 19?
No.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
No. We spoke about 19.
Oh, okay. Right. Cool.
Well, number 19 has dealt itself 2 winners from that position. John Cena in 2013, and then 2015's winner was Roman Reigns.
Oh, yeah. That's what
So it's a very strong number in terms of the company it keeps, in this. But is there someone this year entering who's on the level of a John Cena or Roman Reigns? Are they going to enter at number 19? And because it's me, the answer is probably that it's someone like Reggie, who I love. But
he ain't winning the Rumble, is he? Yeah.
He's not winning the Rumble.
Johnny Knoxville will be 19.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a number that has won twice in the last 10 years though. So
yeah,
obviously that probably does lower my thing with it. But then saying that, it did win kind of within 3 years it won twice. So could it win again? And obviously in saying that too, like other numbers that have had similar kind of gaps, the aforementioned 27, it did win between 89 and 94. It won 3 times. So it kind of it's 12 years gap basically between its first win and its latest win. So it could be possible. And again, we have got the 2 Rumble matches to consider. You mentioned him, John Knoxville. Like, what is he doing then? Like, is there a big bump he's taking in this? I mean, he's 50 years old. Like,
I think he'll be beat up a little bit, and then like Dan said, throw out Zayn and get probably thrown out by Omos, because I could see him being flown. So I'm all right with it, by the way. I don't mind. I think it fits. Even when they did the crossover before with Umaga, I know Steve-O kind of ruined it because he was laughing the whole time, but it always was a world that made sense to me. It was just, even then, it felt too late. I felt like 2001 made a lot of sense. Like Jackass was huge. 2002, 2003, that was the time to put the Jackass members in the WWE universe. But hey, I'm still all for it, man.
Could you imagine them trying that laughing stuff with like Hardcore Holly or something?
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, Umaga didn't take kindly to it anyway, did he? So
no.
Should we get to some of these comments?
Yeah.
So Johnny Black, first one we got here. AJ Styles for me deserves to win the whole thing and have a good title run once again. Agree with that. Damian Priest had the most eliminations.
Oh, that's a good shout, actually.
Corbin eliminated first by McIntyre. That won't happen as Drew McIntyre is out of the Royal Rumble because of his neck injury.
Oh, right, yeah.
Be back for WrestleMania.
Is that legit though? It's hard to say. It's hard to know.
Yeah. Any of you guys going to Royal Rumble?
Sadly,
no.
I'd love to though. Man, imagine the atmosphere doing the countdown. Been to a few Manias, but Rumble was next on the list for me. Or maybe SummerSlam would be cool as well. But yeah, definitely got to get to Rumble someday.
Company budgets don't stretch that far. And this Royal Rumble is so unpredictable, especially with both titles and serious feuds that both have rematch written all over them. Yeah, I guess that's what the road to WrestleMania is for. And Johnny has been with us most of it. Spin it for him.
Yeah, right, let's do it. Well, this is for the audience in general, all right?
Right. So this is for you guys at home. Johnny, this is for you. So your number is
of the people. Shall we lock this in as official people's number? Red Noise fan.
Yeah, this is the people's number.
People power.
If it wins, we'll give away a prize as well.
30.
Have they?
22. Okay, so the subscribers, you are number 22. We're rooting for you. If you win, we'll figure out a prize and we'll figure out a system
and
send it to someone.
And can I tell you something interesting about number 22?
Go on.
First one in 2002 by Triple H. It then won again in 2012 with Sheamus.
Oh,
we're in 2022 right now.
Oh, mate. Mate, yeah, some lucky subscriber is going to be getting a
it could be a 10-year thing. It is due.
Maybe they do think about these things. Okay.
So like they have chosen a very good number. Well, Will's chosen a very good number for them. And yeah, we hope that obviously if you aren't subscribed though, it's your chance to subscribe because this number represents you, and obviously
exactly.
Hopefully you'll be watching that Rumble. I mean, it counts for both Rumble matches too.
So definitely. It's 2 chances there. Almost 30, but 22 is really nice too. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Well done.
Well done, guys.
Before we move into
person straight after mine, isn't it? So.
Oh yeah, so you're going to be battling out. You're going to battle out with the subscribers. Right. So before we move into the women's one, should we come up with possible surprises? And it's no points on the line here, obviously, but let's have a little bit of a. Who do you think could possibly show up, boys?
In the men's, it will be.
In the men's, we go men's.
I reckon Braun Strowman could,
That's a good shout.
I reckon Braun Strowman. I think there'll be a couple of guys from NXT in there, possibly, like Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne would be cool, yeah.
Maybe a Tommaso Ciampa.
You never know.
I don't want to say his name. Walter. There we go.
Yeah, let's stay away from that controversy.
Yeah, so I think Walter will be in there as well. Johnny reckons Chris Jericho.
Possible. I mean, they did it when I was shocked when they did it when he had been in and around New Japan. I mean, AEW feels like I feel like there a lot of rumors about a possible Forbidden Door person here, and therefore a lot of people say with Impact it could be Moose. That kind of makes sense. But I think it will be a former WWE person because if you're bringing someone in new that WWE aren't used to, I think it's going to be more of they're signed, they are staying. A lot of people saying Okada would be fantastic. Don't get me wrong, it really would be. I'd love to see Okada, but yeah, I think if it's Okada, he's signed. But I do like the idea of the Rumble becoming this kind of like anyone in the world of wrestling could show up. I think that's a very wise way to go with the Rumble, adds a new dimension to it. So I'm excited, and we'll get to the Mickie James thing later on. But I think if it's anyone, it probably will be a former star. I think Zack Ryder's got a possibility here,
Maybe. Or, subject of Mickie James, what about Nick Aldis, maybe?
I think
they've never been in the company, but yeah.
Maybe that was like Mickie said. Maybe Mickie was like, look, I'll come back and do it, but put Nick in the
I think they'd say no. I mean, not saying they wouldn't want Nick. They might want Nick on his own terms, but I don't think they'd be strong-armed and something like that. But maybe. I mean, they probably, who knows?
Yeah, I think Braun being in it would make sense, but almost is not actually. They might have decided, okay, we just can't obviously have two people in that half the field.
Or a face-off between the two of them. I mean, did they do that before? Have they done it with Braun before?
I don't think so. Because I'm pretty, I would have to scroll back through the early 2021 episode of Raw to know, and no one wants to watch that. But I'm not too sure. I don't think it has. Yeah, I think surprises. I think the Rumble, this goes into the bigger kind of discussion now where the Rumble's going next. I guess it's going into a territory of, like you say, Scott, anyone from the world of wrestling can kind of go into it because they're faced with surprise-wise, unless they kind of get. It sounds weird saying this, quote unquote convenient injuries. They can't really have these surprises be as big as they used to be because everyone is now signed for one of their competitors. Everyone who is essentially not injured and not old. And before they were obviously going back to the Attitude Era and obviously one of the coolest parts was being a fan of something, it's seeing the cast age. And in this scenario in wrestling, it's seeing the wrestlers age. And it's a case of, we now essentially know that pretty much nobody from when we started watching wrestling and when we enjoyed it the most can come back and wrestle anymore. They are too old or they are dead. And it's sad, but it means that the WWE are forced basically into new territories here because, in a nice possible way, like people don't remember as for the period, of like the late 2000s to 2010s. My God,
there's
not many people there.
I do think they could move into that kind of one straight after the Attitude Era, which would be like how they did ruthless aggression stars, like Carlito coming back last year, for example, which was fantastic. And it's a shame it didn't really work out for him. He didn't stick around for much longer. Obviously, he did for a bit, but I think ruthless aggression is the next kind of well for them to go down. To be honest.
Yeah, I think someone who could make a surprise kind of appearance, stemming off obviously the Nick Aldis conversation. someone who is actually in an NWA. I think Chris Masters. I think he could be a good shout.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think he fits. I think maybe this will be a spot. I'm guessing because they had Jillian Hall last year in the Women's Rumble, and obviously they had Carlito in the Men's Rumble. So I think there is that spot there for that kind of late 2000s act. But they know there's only a handful of people that people are going to remember. And Chris Masters was gimmicky enough. Because with Carlito, essentially, if you had never seen him before, you would always remember the whole spit in your face so people don't think it's cool. You remember that, he only bit an apple. But and the same thing here, with Chris Masters, he had the Martial Art Challenge, didn't he? Which was a known thing on Raw for a long period. He still looks good. He's pretty much what they kind of look for. I think if they weren't interested in Nick Aldis, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I don't see why it's all of a sudden going to change. And we kind of forget that they don't seem to really care about, not care, but couples in wrestling. It's not a kind of dumb thing of, because my wife's in the Women's Rumble, I have to be in the men's one. It's not really how it works, especially in WWE. And like you say, I think the surprise entrants have to be someone known to the WWE fan base. So for that reason, and like you said, so without them signing, I don't see them putting in anyone from Japan or from Impact that hasn't bumped in a WWE ring before. So I think surprise-wise, I think Jericho could do it. I think, I think Jericho could do it. I think so. My pre-ones would be Becky Jericho. I'm with you with Strowman. Don't think Christian. Thanks, Johnny Black, but I don't think Christian. I think that moment was last year, and they were very much happy to do it last year as part of the story. It made sense. And obviously, Christian was at one point going to sign.
Yeah, and they're probably a bit stung by that, aren't they? So, if there's any AEW guys, it's guys like that they probably wouldn't.
I think Jericho could.
Maybe Jericho.
Yeah, Bridges is somewhat there.
Cody's weird, isn't it? Because of the whole free agent thing now as well. But yeah, it would be cool. Another one here as well from Johnny Black about the Undertaker. I mean, I really hope he's not. To be honest, if you want to see why, I guess. Check out on the main Rebellious Noise channel before we split into our separate channels. Plenty of channels here, by the way. Check them all out, please, and subscribe. But on the main Rebellious Noise channel, when we do the wrestling podcast on there, if you want to see us talk about this in depth, about 20 minutes, we went into it with Survivor Series 2020, basically, when Undertaker retired. And we kind of shared our thoughts on Taker's kind of legacy and the ending of it in that kind of unfortunate way, in my opinion, the way they kind of handled that. But so I don't think Taker will. I think eventually we'll come back and choke sign people, but I don't think it's going to be anything like the Rumble. Would I jump up and down? Of course I will if it happens. But yeah,
got to think his wife is in the Women's Rumble, so that's probably why he's going to be backstage.
Yeah. And they might be filming stuff for a documentary or something, or there'd be some reason why he's there. And
conversation we had earlier actually was they usually will announce a member of the Hall of Fame around this time as well. So potentially being in Texas, Undertaker's hometown, potentially they could be making that announcement.
Yeah, they don't. They usually do it on Raws though, don't they? But I could see the Texas. Yeah, I mean, I could see the him being backstage for kind of just cementing some of those deals and paperwork and being in the area anyway, and then maybe it is Raw when they announce it, but he's got to go in at some point anyway. So yeah, Texas would make sense.
Yeah. So should we get onto the women's one?
Let's do it. Yeah, and by the way, anyone in the comments, let us know who you think as well. We've had a few suggestions already. Really do appreciate it, and keep them coming.
And talking about Undertaker's wife, the match that she is going to be in, and that is the Women's Royal Rumble. This match at the moment is quite stacked. I'm going to try it because my screen is quite small here, but I'm trying to have a look to see who we've got. So we've got Kelly, Mickie James, Lita, Tamina, Queen Zelina, Carmella, Shayna Baszler, the Bella Twins, Michelle McCool, Summer Rae, Aaliyah, Shotzi Blackheart, Natalya, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, the SmackDown Women's Champion, the 24/7 Champion Dana Brooke, Naomi, and Nikki ASH. God, that was a lot of people.
There's a lot in there already, so, compared to the men's, but yeah.
Yeah. So let's see who is going to go first on this one. It is number 3. So, Lucas,
No.
first time your numbers come up, and are you stuffing your face, mate?
Indeed, it
I thought
has. So,
Are we going to do Rob first, though?
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Give me a little bit of help there, Lucas.
So, Rob, as we know, has got number 14, and he has picked the winner of the Royal Rumble to be Liv Morgan. He thinks that Rhea Ripley is going to get the most eliminations, and the first woman out will be Natalia.
Oh.
Okay.
So, women's Royal Rumble winner for 2022. So, we've obviously seen Charlotte Flair win it, seen Becky Lynch win it. We have not seen Sasha Banks win it.
I'll throw this back up for you. There you go.
Yeah, there is a massive pull. I'm aware that Sasha Banks injured, I believe, isn't she?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think she's like Drew as well. The ETA return is Mania from like the injury that she's got. Because Drew's got a neck injury. Sasha's, I think, is a knee, is it, or something like that?
I think it's possible that she was planned to win it, but yeah, obviously isn't the case now.
So,
do you need that still up, or?
Yeah, 2 seconds. So here's where I'm at. Okay, you can remove that now. Here's where I'm at. So my theory basically was I thought that it's going to go to one of the other 4 horsewomen, but the problem they have is they're both injured. Bayley and Sasha Banks are both injured. Obviously, Bayley could return potentially, maybe.
I think she will. Yeah.
It is always hard for these things to know. Like, obviously, and rightfully so, they do like to keep these things as much private as they can, I guess, because obviously it's surgery they're having, and there are lots of things to consider nowadays. Obviously, the amount of rehab that they obviously go through his injuries is at a level which obviously we can only obviously imagine, really. But again, they're elite athletes at the end of the day. But with them both being injured, that kind of throws the match a bit more open. So, do they go for a previous winner, being Charlotte Flair? And, she's had a very weird year, to put it kind of mildly. And I think that there still might be that kind of, belief that she might want to leave the company in the future. And so they, are kind of biding their time a little bit, thinking, okay, let's kind of wait and see where her leaders lie. Then there's, do they just do last year's winner again? It worked last year. Give her one in front of fans, Bianca Belair. And obviously they, are yet to obviously have a back-to-back Women's Rumble winner. And obviously they had that with the men, with Hulk Hogan, with Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold, or achieving that same feat.
Yeah.
But saying that they haven't done it, like I said, haven't done that in 20 years now. So they don't seem to like those repeat winners. So then it's like a case they must go for someone new, because they essentially released a lot of the women, and they don't really have much choice. Liv Morgan, someone who the fans seem to love, seem to absolutely adore, but it is pretty much at the point now where if he doesn't win, like, something soon, that's pretty much done. Because it's only so long you can kind of keep the fans' interest with these things.
Yeah, we said it a lot on the build-up for the last one, didn't we? And then, all of us were like, that was the moment. It's possible with Rumble, but that felt like the moment for me.
Yeah, and I don't think it's at the Rumble either, sadly. Yeah, I don't think it's at the Rumble either. It's really hard to go in first with these ones, because, I'm seeing the list again, and you're just like, there's so many kind of possible winners here. And so I'm going to go for, it's hard because there's so many that aren't even kind of wrestlers at the moment, if that makes sense. Which while easy to kind of dismiss, it's also like, well, they have a good chance. Like, if we look at the list, there's both Bellas, Lisa, already Hall of Famers. There's Michelle McCool, Kelly, Summer Rae, WWE legends. A bit questionable when it comes to Summer Rae, I guess. But hey ho, their terms, not ours. And obviously Mickey James, who doesn't even work for the company. So you've got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people who aren't on the main roster. And we spoke before about the Bellas possibly getting one more run. And they could have and should have been used for get the women's tag titles, into a position of better than what they are now. It's really hard. So who did we say? I said Kevin Owens. Is Kevin Owens on Raw or SmackDown?
He's on Raw.
Okay, so then because I said a Raw superstar will win the men's one, a SmackDown one must therefore win the women's one.
You ain't got many to choose from.
Sorry?
You haven't got many to choose from.
SmackDown or Legend must win this one, and I am so tempted to say Legend will win this. I don't know. Do I play it safe?
What? Mae Young or Moolah?
No.
Not that.
I'm so tempted to think that. Basically, I don't know if people are aware of this. The story that came out about Lita recently, about how obviously she was offered a big money deal to go to AEW.
Face Britt Baker, yeah.
And for whatever reason, something happened, and she changed and went to WWE and SmackDown. Is this the reason? Because they could just bounce it back to someone. She can lose the opportunity at the Chamber in Saudi. That could be a good attraction, I guess. But maybe she might have problems, I guess, with the ethics of that, I guess. Or even at Fastlane, she could lose it. And they're having like Beth and Maryse involved in obviously their respective husbands' rivalry, and they're obviously legends. So they have no problem putting these legend women in matches. So why not a title match? And if you're gonna do one, like if Trish won't come back because she's got sense, enough money, like Lita will be the second best option. So. Can I risk it? Am I sounding insane? Comment section, let me know. I'm going to go for Lita winning the Women's Rumble.
Wow.
There must have been something. There literally must have been something. Why would, Britt Baker is, one of the best women in the world at what she does. And something must have come up as to what WWE said.
To claw her away from that.
For her to be so tied into, okay, I'm going to do the Women's Rumble. I've already done before. And all the people I basically like in the company have been released. So yeah, I'm gonna say Lita to win the Rumble. Most eliminations is a bit easier. It's torn between Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley for me, really. And I will go with Shayna Baszler getting that. I will then go for first eliminated, because I have no idea who she is Aaliyah. So sorry, but you're getting eliminated first. I'm sure you're very talented, but
I can't wait till it swings round to me. But it's you now, done, isn't it? So
she's a Guinness World Record holder, mate. Holds a record for the fastest match in WWE history, 3.17 seconds.
There you go.
Set last week. So, right. So you don't sound that crazy when you say Lita to win it, because Lita was one of the 3 that I had.
Or maybe you're both crazy, Dan. Just because you do it doesn't mean he's not. It means you both are.
I mean, so Lita is, I think she's one of the dark horses, I think, to win it. But then I think you've got to think Bianca Belair for obviously the back-to-back thing.
Yep.
Another one that we've not mentioned, Alexa Bliss. She's not in the Rumble, or not officially announced yet, but possibly Alexa Bliss could win it. Or Bayley is the other one that I've got. I'm literally torn between those. Bianca, Bayley.
Lita and Bliss,
yeah. It's tricky, isn't it? Thankfully, you went first with that one, Lucas. So, bloody hell. Yeah, struggling with it. So, yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, I'm going to go with the other bits first while I'm having a think. So I'm going to say, most eliminations, I think, is going to be Rhea Ripley.
Did she get it last year, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lucas, you said Shayna, didn't you, in the end?
Yeah.
And then I think going out first will be Carmella.
I think I went for her last year. I don't know.
Possibly.
Feels like that kind of.
So we swing back round now to this winner's thingamajig. So let's have a look. Let's get this back up.
Maybe do them like by a process of elimination, you know, like least likely to win out of those four, who would you say?
Yeah, so, then again, like looking at the graphic, you've got to think Charlotte Flair's in there. This women's rumble, it's so hard to pick, which is it's good. You know, sometimes you'll get a rumble and it's like, you know, blatantly they're going to win, Whereas this one, you can make a claim for obviously Charlotte winning because she said that if she wins, she'll pick her own challenger. So potentially we get Lita Charlotte at Mania and then it's through that way.
Yeah.
But then there's also there was also talk of Trish Stratus as well. But then again, it's like it's a legend and you're just throwing her in randomly again for that. Oh, stop talking yourself out of one of them. I don't know. I bet yours is going to be like, yep, I know mine, bang, bang, go, bang. Do I think Bianca? See, part of me thinks Bianca's going back to back, but then, and part of me thinks that as well because she's been on this bit of like a losing streak recently. And sometimes they will do this where they'll make someone go on a losing streak just to give them that big like win back.
Come on, then. You can do it.
Do I go Bianca? Right. So I'm going to rule out. Let me rule out Liv Morgan. No.
Come on.
All right. I'm going to rule out Alexa Bliss. I'll rule out Bliss. So who am I down to now? I'm down to Lita,
Liv, and Bailey.
Bianca.
Oh, Bianca.
Bailey possibly.
Oh my god.
All right. So I'm gonna flip between Lita and Bianca. Do I think back to back or legend? Back to back or legend? Bianca.
Wow. Okay. Bold. Okay. Right. So let's recap. Rob's gone for winner is
Liv Morgan.
Lucas, you've gone for
Lita.
And excuse me, Dan, you've gone for Bianca.
Yeah.
Oh man. See, I'm in the same boat with you guys with a lot of these cases. I do think Bailey's coming back, so I don't think she'll win. We'll get to surprises and things like that after this as well, of course, and more comments. But I'm tempted to say Liv because I feel like this is the last roll of the dice. You know, they've got to pull the trigger at some point, but maybe they're not. And we've been told that already by her not winning the last two big ones, you know. So Bianca back to back kind of makes sense and kind of like reward for what happened with Becky. She goes on and beats Becky at Mania. It's a good story, but I kind of, as much as I think she's fantastic, I'm not a big fan of the back to backs myself. So I don't want that to happen. And I think fans won't want that to happen, to be honest, in the arena. As much as she's loved, I think there will be a kind of hesitance to it, you know? So who's the cat think? Me, clearly. Right. I'm tempted by Alexa, but she's only just started this kind of therapy behind the scenes stuff that we're being showed, those vignettes. So I feel like that's got to boil up and do something before she wins something big. So that's what's making me rule out Alexa at the moment. So I think Look, Lita's a great argument. I also think she's come back for something, and I do think she's going to go on to face Charlotte at Mania possibly, but I think she won't win it because of Charlotte, but Charlotte also won't win it, and that will kind of their feud will build up. I hate the champion being in the Rumble. I've said it before on Talking Beans. I've probably said it on previous episodes of this, but I hate the champion being in the Rumble, and and as soon as I saw it, she was announced, it really, really annoyed me. Hate it. So, but hey, I'm sure they'll do as long as they don't win at least as well. Like, but I just think, yeah, she'll kind of be trying to stop Lita because she's kind of like doesn't want that match, you know. So she throws out Lita, someone throws her out, and that feud kind of goes somewhere. Anyway, she's annoyed at Lita for something, or maybe Lita throws her out, and that's why she still chooses her, even though Lita doesn't win it as well, you know, like because she's annoyed at Lita or something like that. So I don't think it'll be Lita, but I do think she's going somewhere. And like you said, Lucas, something to kind of pry her away from that Britt Baker thing. It had to be big. So I think you're right on that sense. I'm just not sure if it's for the Rumble win. So I think I'm going to go with Rhea. Felt like it's a missed opportunity. Maybe not now, maybe next year or something like that. It's a bit too obvious and not Rhea. I think I'm going to go with Liv Morgan. If I'm gutted for the third time in a row, then so be it. But I just don't think it makes much sense to do anyone. It does. It does make sense for other people, but I think this one is makes the most sense to me as far as making a star, which is what I think they need to do. So yeah, that would be good for her, and I think for the division. And right, so most eliminations, Rhea seems like the easy option, so I think I'm kind of leaning towards that. But I feel like, again, because she did it last year, I don't know, but how could you not make her look strong? But maybe it's because Nikki ASH is going to get around, and that feud's going to continue. So because that's got to be going on for some reason, their little kind of breakup. So I'm kind of tempted to not go for it. I'm just going to whack up the graphic again just so I can get a bit of an idea again who's in it. Who else could potentially do the most? The most. You know what? Charlotte's going to do the most, in my opinion. I think Charlotte will do the most eliminations. And I think first eliminated, I'm tempted by Natalya when that was mentioned earlier on. Because, again, there's a mini feud going on with Summer Rae. So unless they're 1 and 2, maybe won't be Natalya. But Natalya makes sense with her character at the moment.
And
so I'm kind of
well.
tempted. Yeah, and Aaliyah. So unless it's 1, 2, and 3 with M lot, which they could definitely do, but she feels like the character at the moment, you know, like they kind of, it would make sense. You know, it's not someone getting buried. It's not quite a comedy thing, but it's ha laugh at the heel type thing, you know, so I can kind of see that. But I don't know if I'm going to lock it in. Instead, I'm going to go for, it's really tough because there's so many people there that aren't even, you know, like a legend ain't going to go out first, are they? So, or a surprise, I don't think. So, man, this is really hard. You know what? Maybe it'll be Aaliyah. Maybe Natalya gets revenge. Because it was Natalya that she beat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Natalya gets revenge, but then Summer Rae comes out to get revenge on Natalya. Because that's kind of the thing going on there. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Aaliyah goes out first for the sympathy so that the heat can go on Natalya so that when she gets eliminated, it means more. And is that all the things I have to guess? It is, right? I've done them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Like it, yeah.
So should we talk surprises again?
Mm-hmm.
For women's one, so I think nailed on has got to be Bayley. Now, one I haven't really seen people mention, and I do think is quite possible, is why is her name just literally going from my head as I thought that? What's her name? Pregnant army woman.
Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans. How did I forget? I was literally the whole time thinking I'm going to talk about Lacey Evans in a minute. Lacey Evans, I think, will return as well. And I think that'd be cool. I think it'd be a cool pop. I don't think anyone that returns will win, though. Which could be to your argument of why Lita is and why Lita wasn't a pop, why Lita is announced. Do you know what I mean? So, because I don't think, you know, you have two moments there. You don't want the two, you just want the pop. You know, like, so I think Bayley gets the pop. I think Evans gets the pop. So maybe Lita does win it because she's been, and that's why she's been announced to not get that double moment. But yeah, I think Bayley's coming back, and I think Lacey Evans coming back. Forbidden Door wise, I think they've already done that with Mickie James, and Yeah, that'll be interesting though. Looking forward to that. Yeah, what about you guys?
There was a name that I literally just had. I reckon probably Trish will be in it. I reckon they like to put her in every year as well. Who else do I think? So we've got some of them. I mean, you've got obviously Michelle McCool in there. Maybe we could see Layla as well to do the.
Layla would be cool, yeah.
Molly Holly, working obviously as a backstage producer. Sonia Deville, I reckon, to come in and throw Naomi out, or Naomi throw her out potentially. Also interesting, going back to the men's one, did you see there was a post with Adam Pearce had his gear bag with his boots in it? So maybe Adam Pearce in the Rumble for the men's side. But yeah, going back to women's side, trying to think who else we've got now. Don't know if there's any other like return wise. I guess the only ones you could really go for would maybe be ones that have been that have been released. So possibly Sarah Logan, maybe. That's one potential, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a fair few of them. I mean, I wouldn't rule out potentially them looking at the age 2010, someone like Caitlyn potentially. Someone like what's her name again? I know her theme song. I sing all the time.
Sing the theme song. Eve Torres, yeah.
Eve Torres.
Yeah.
Essentially, any female who's under 40 and looks somewhat like they did 10 years ago, I think is a fair shout.
A lot of them do get churned out over and over again. We've had a lot of the same ones, haven't we?
Yeah. And it's harder with the women because obviously the women never had the Rumble.
So you've got to give them that moment. Yeah.
Wait, how have you got this person? Well, WWE have, which is injured though, in Asuka, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Asuka's coming back surely. Yeah, but I don't think she'd win.
And someone else has got a suggestion in the comments. Vanessa Clayton reckons Paige.
Yeah, every year I feel like this, but because she's mentioned it this year, I feel like no, because she acknowledged
is it a bit
rumors.
Like when Wade Barrett kept mentioning like Papa Shango being a Rumble for the men's? It was like obviously some sort of rib, as obviously they wanted to get the Godfather. Well, the Godfather by the way will probably be
Godfather, wasn't it? Yeah.
I mean, in front of a crowd, like, how can you not the Godfather? Like,
Laycool, yeah, we'd love to see some Laycool again.
Vanessa and I, Vanessa's a very good friend of mine. We're both massive fans of Laycool back in the day. But Eve, I mean, it's like
is that Eve Torres?
Reason they don't talk about.
Caitlyn as well.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned like Caitlyn. And like I said, for the women, they've got to look at the fact that everyone is old. Everyone's old and can't redo it anymore. They've already had like all the legacy acts, so to speak, and the Hall of Fame acts kind of enter the Rumble. Obviously, Jacqueline's done it. So has Ivory. Steph, no.
I think she'd have to be storyline if it was Steph, and I don't see there being a story for her.
I think there's more chance of Linda and Steph.
Linda. Should we get onto this comment though from Johnny Black again as well about Nikki Bella might win and challenge Lynch, but I will say Ripley Belair is going to have the most eliminations and Talia eliminated first by Leah. Great comment again. Thank you very much. And anyone else, tell us yours, your picks as well. Also, Johnny Black coming up with Matt Cardona returns and his wife can come back as well. That's a point, but I don't think. Yeah, possible. And another one from Vanessa again, Jazz. I would love to see Jazz back.
Same. She got hard done by, I think.
Yeah, I think she's officially retired, but then again, a lot of these women officially retired as well. Like the Bellas are in the Hall of Fame and retired, yet they're going to be in it. So never say never, right?
I'd like to see as well Victoria in front of fans.
Yeah, I was gutted she didn't get that. Yeah.
Because she was meant to be in the year before, but because it got spoiled, because you could see it into the arena from the hotel room. Yeah. That's why they vetoed that one. And talking of Vanessa, we've got Vanessa has sent a message in for you, Lucas. We're on a stream, mate. He can't. So yeah.
Vinny.
Check his phone. Unless you're texting him through who you think's going to win the Rumble. Then no. So
But yeah, yeah, I think, look, it's always an open field and it's so happy. My message base to the fan base is let's just enjoy the Rumble this year. It's a match which I think we all grew up with. It was always that it's always the most exciting time of the year. I know WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year. SummerSlam is fun. So is Money in the Bank. So is sometimes even like TLC or Extreme Raw, potentially, particularly depending on the stories where they're going. But the Rumble feels like it is like the freshest time in all of WWE, where people can return from long-time injuries, where people can come back to the company after being elsewhere, and where kind of new people can kind of pop up. Because again, like in the men's Rumble, like Elias could just pop up, we haven't seen him in months, and it makes you realise, oh, these people work here. These people, I remember, the pops, they always get the Rumble always 10 times bigger. And WWE are aware of this. So my cat is trying to steal the limelight from me. Maybe Cat win the Rumble.
Yeah. Cat's going to win it. I told you. A few more comments here as well. Vanessa, once again, thanks for the comments. Heard a rumor. Here we go. Oh, I'm trying to get that out. We got Magnus from Vinny basically saying, Nick Aldis, we did kind of touch on it earlier, a possibility. And also here, again, with Vanessa saying, heard a rumor about Moose. I think that's probably one of the biggest rumors, actually, because it's a Forbidden Door thing. But as we kind of mentioned earlier on, that it's probably more likely to be an ex-WWE guy if they use a Forbidden Door, in my opinion. Here we go, going on with the Forbidden Door once again. Bring back Vicky Guerrero. They done that, though, didn't they? So I don't think they will here. But here we go. They're only kidding anyway. But hey, someone weren't when she did come back that time. So yeah, but
there's a lot of women though that their story is just one and done. Like I think obviously Michelle McCall, she's probably pretty much going to do these every year until she kind of can't do them. But then like this year, if
that sounded like a printer then.
She's really active. She's really excited about the Rumble, isn't it? Rumble season.
Yeah, we all are. Can't blame her.
But yeah, but if Layla appears, and obviously that her thing is obviously just kind of teaming back up with Michelle McCall, the most likely to get turned on. Let's be real. And then that will be her kind of, her Rumble story. That's her done. Because what else can she redo? Like in a Rumble scenario. I wouldn't mind seeing Awesome Kong show up as well. I know she retired as well. Was retiring or whatever it might be. I can't remember which one it is now. But essentially, I think retirement. Only Batista really in recent years has been one of those that's closed down.
I just realised I had a dream that Batista went to AEW. How weird is that? Oh yeah, so it weren't true. Oh, good point.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't true. And if he has it his way, it seems that it will never be true.
Well,
for him to come back to anything wrestling wise, he seems to be one of those where he's kind of respectful of he is done.
Yeah.
He is done, full stop, no bumbles, no one-off appearances, no whatever. He's done. He's now an actor. And I guess he will do the Hall of Fame. Potentially might have to move it to next year now, I guess, if Taker's going to go in this year. I'm guessing they're two massive names, I guess. You don't want to put them in the same year, but they could do. But I guess they're ways to be wasted.
And I think his star's rising as well, Batista. So waiting would be wise to get him in when he's even bigger of a superstar.
I mean, he's only just turned
and in Hollywood
52,
as well.
53.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But... Yeah. Being holiday. Yeah.
Know. But yeah, I think. But then when most people and they try
hopefully, yeah.
Well,
that would be a good way to do it.
Imagine if it is like a door. The entrance way is actually a door. Just them taking
with the word forbidden on top of it.
Or they can
get the old like in your house there
and a 24/7 skit. Like be chased or whatever. Is he a champion at the moment? I don't even know.
Who knows?
No, it's Dana Brooke.
Okay.
Oh yeah, of course it is. She's been it for a while, to be fair. So
no, to be fair, what could be quite funny is if they were able to do something with Impact where R-Truth, the 24/7 mob, end up going through a door on like Raw, and then it opens up in Impact like the next day, and then they change the 24/7 title on Impact. And they can bounce it around there, maybe on Impact, and obviously leaves with someone like R-Truth. Because R-Truth's been in that Impact, wasn't he?
I was going to say, main event there, mate.
R-Truth was in wasn't he, as well? Like, people can't believe he's 50.
Yeah.
And also people can't believe that he was an actual, he was a credible, he's fantastic, but he was a proper wrestler.
Yeah, NWA World Champion, mate.
World Champion.
TNA. So.
Main event, lots of pay-per-views for TNA. They were pay-per-views back then.
Yeah, and that run with Cena, Little Jimmy, was fantastic.
Yeah. People forget all this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that will be something like that. Would be a fun way to use a Forbidden Door, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it doesn't always need to be to get like Hideo, Kenta versus Omega or whatever it is, or versus Moxley or in AEW. It can sometimes be a fun thing of just like we want to see people just show up different places and have fun with wrestling again.
Yeah,
but that's like when we grew up when we were watching it. When we first got into it.
Yeah, a couple more names I want to throw out there quickly as well is the inspiration, so the Iconics maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking this earlier, but to have two of them, that's two entrances. That's the only thing I thought against it.
Yeah. But yeah, another one. We interviewed them as well, so go back and check out that on the Rebellious Noise channel. One for the men, and it would probably be the biggest surprise. Brian Danielson.
Nah, not a chance. Not a chance.
I
don't know. They're on he's on good terms, isn't he? I don't know, man. I think there's too counterproductive.
So he's on good terms with them. His wife's in the women's one.
Yeah, but I think it is counterproductive.
It may have been a part of his deal, like when he went there, that he was like, "Look, I'll come back and do a Rumble for you, potentially."
Yeah, but that is advertised. There's one thing to do Forbidden Door stuff. It's another thing to go, remember his main event that you all missed? Or he's not coming back. He's just here for tonight. But go on the other channel. You see him every week. I just don't think they're going to do something like that. Like, I mean, yeah, you could say we've kind of said maybe Jericho will get that. But I think Jericho's a little bit different. But yeah, I'd love to see it. Don't get me wrong. We got a question here as well. A question for you guys. What surprise entrant would you think would have the biggest pop? I guess out of the ones we've chosen, because we could all say Okada, but no one really thinks it could happen. The ones we've chosen, I would say possibly Bayley.
I think Bayley
was probably most likely.
I think if it's going to be Bayley, though, they have to have the old music, like her baby face.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think she's going to come back as a heel because she's moaning about who is it on Twitter? She's been Beth, saying Beth's been dodging her. So that could be where they go with Beth and Edge and all that for a little bit before Mania. But then if you do that, why are you then bringing it back to the Miz and Maryse? It will feel like a done story. So that's kind of tough there. Bayley for sure. I assume that's about, again, that same question, or maybe it's just about her coming back in general. And yeah, Tenille Dashwood / Emma, that's a good shout as well. Another one of those kind of like a few years ago, but definitely kind of would get a pop and still kind of relevant, I would say. And then R-Truth can enter the Women's Royal Rumble is going to be confused chasing Zaynab for 24/7 tower. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. There's so much you can do with that. Like
the Rumble moment where R-Truth sets up a ladder is the funniest thing that's happened. Like the last.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
He legitimately thinks it's the money in the bank. Like, so yeah, if he only R-Truth could pull that off, and only R-Truth could pull this suggestion off, which came up about he mentioned the Women's Rumble to chase Dana Brooke, thinking it's 24/7. I think like there's lots of stuff that can be done, and like he's a godsend, R-Truth. I think Vanessa's question might though have been about more the people who have been announced that should have been surprises or potential surprises. So I'm guessing the legends that have been announced. I think it's in terms of those people, I'm guessing Lita or Mickie James most likely will be the biggest kind of reaction pot. And Mickie James, to be fair, this year, because obviously how she left the company, and with obviously the internet fans, seeming to know everything about that, how she left. I think she would have been the biggest kind of surprise kind of reaction of like, oh yeah, like
that would have been a massive shock. So it's weird they've gone with it,
but maybe Asuka as well for the big pop.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
I think now, like we say, like it is just entering that era now where the Rumble match has to just go different ways because they can't rely upon the old stars, really, like, or they have to announce more things. Oh, Keith Lee.
I think some bridges have been burnt recently, though. The way he kind of spoke about it since after. It's mad that they ruined that, by the way, that they missed that opportunity with Lee and it just didn't work out. Crazy, but there's a lot of guys been like that, especially in the past few years. Karrion Kross, you could argue as well, another odd one. Anyone for NXT UK? See, I don't personally think so.
Boston, man.
Even but he's technically NXT now, isn't he? So,
okay.
But at the same time, there's the rumors that they don't want to use any NXT. Well, there's rumors that they don't want to use any NXT, so let alone NXT UK. I think if any roster, any match had it, it'd be the women's one because they're trying to bulk it up. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think so. I'd love to see Dragunov. I'd love to see Walter. I'd love to see a lot of those NXT guys. Braun Breaker would be cool. But if rumors are to be believed, then we won't be seeing those guys. So yeah.
He will be known as Walter on this channel. Don't worry.
Yeah, and also another person we've interviewed in the past as well. So check that out on the channel.
A man who we actually saw win the start his record-breaking NXT UK title reign as well in the Barclays Center.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Just before WrestleMania 35, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In that amazing match against Pete Dunne. So
fantastic, yeah. I mean, Pete Dunne is a possibility. I think if any of them. Also here another comment, Nathan Fraser. Another suggestion.
Shah Samuels, just because we interviewed him as well.
Nathan Fraser is from NXT UK. Shah Samuels would be cool.
Or
well, yeah.
Anyone you want to plug, Lucas, that you may or may not have trained potentially?
Oh, you know what? He would be fantastic if you're talking about Wade. You're talking about the NXT UK guy. I get what Wade was the drop kicks.
It'd be nice to see Lewis Howley in there. Obviously, as a DKW original, DKW, he started DKW a few years ago. It'd be nice. It'd be nice, but yeah, I do think that they do see NXT as a development now, and I don't think they're gonna go. I don't think they want to go that way. Like they want to go the way of the legends, being the kind of pops now, not the indie kids on the block.
If any Dropkicks alumni, I think Wade Barrett would be fantastic. I'd love to see him. But on that note, the rumors of Corey Graves, and I don't want to be rude or anything like that, but I don't feel like Corey would get a massive reception in the sense that people would go, oh, the commentator's getting in the ring, rather than Corey Graves is a wrestler again. Because I don't want to be harsh. I never quite, Corey Graves, I just didn't really quite do it for me in NXT. No offense, mate. But I've seen how angry you can get on Twitter. But yeah, I don't think people are gone. Not for the reasons that maybe people, because he was kind of a big part of NXT at a time when NXT wasn't really viewed. He was in that kind of not viewed, but that early period of NXT.
Yeah,
and he had such a small thing, and it's really sad that he had to end his wrestling career and become a commentator, which he's transitioned to that role really well. But I think people like him, I know people said he'll get up, and then Byron Saxton will do it as well. And we've had that with the King and even Michael Cole. But if he is cleared,
maybe.
I think it'd be better if he's cleared. It'd be better with a do you remember when Taz versus Jerry Lawler? Something like that, where someone's picking on him, but he usually plays the heel, so who knows? But kind of my thoughts on that. But you just said Pat McAfee also got that there as well, so possibly.
One more name that's just come to my head.
Go on.
William Regal.
Nah, it'd be too awkward timing, wouldn't it? Who knows?
They left on good terms, didn't they?
Yeah, but it was only a month. It was not even a month ago, was it? So
yeah, Jeff Hardy, I think maybe. If he's obviously in a better place.
Yeah, I don't see that. Yeah,
I still think they'd be interested in not wanting him to go to AEW to just block that Hardys and Young Bucks match. They keep him on the contract for a couple. I'm sorry?
I was going to say, this current spot that Seth's doing was actually meant to be for Jeff Hardy, because it was meant to be Drew and Jeff were the next two in line for Roman. So that's why they've had to scramble around and
oh wow!
Obviously, bring Seth in.
No, again,
again too close. I think these are all possibilities for next year, because a lot of these are good terms, kind of leaving, and if they do the whole forbidden thing going forward, possibly, but not right now for me.
But yeah, look, I mean, obviously we have a build-up show anyway on the night of the Rumble, and we know it's exciting, and obviously for this whole week for wrestling journalism. Outside of WrestleMania and possibly SummerSlam, it is like the biggest week for WrestleMania, and our live build-up show is a big part of that week. And so, hopefully, everyone who's commented tonight, hopefully you can join us for parts of that. Obviously, on that one, we discussed the matches, which obviously we haven't had a chance to discuss tonight, because they haven't been booked, and we might have to have some kind of last-minute kind of Rumble predictions too. Obviously, with what goes on in the wider wrestling world, and but
go through all the Twitter speculation and all that. I can't wait, man.
I know, it's exciting.
Who's been spotted at the airport?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I can't wait to get up. Oh,
It'd be so fun.
Or read the next day, oh, they flew this one into like a neighbouring town and they drove
in.
Oh, it's so exciting. But yeah, that's live usually for about 9, isn't it? I think, isn't it?
Yeah, around that. Yeah, a few hours
Saturday.
before the show kicks off. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget that is next Saturday.
Oh, yes, Saturday pay-per-view, of course, yeah.
And so
PLE.
Before we get out of here, let's go and have a look at the current, I was going to say pay-per-view predictions table, but we're going to now look at the premium live events table.
Yeah, we got to change that graphic.
We do, yeah. Sorry, giving you a bit of work to do.
Yeah, I mean, not only am I bottom, and I don't want to look at it ever, I've now got to edit it.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, if you are going to edit it, you may as well just add a few more points onto it. Yeah, so as you can see, I am sitting pretty at the top of the table on 42. The only time I'll be sitting pretty, but there we go. Second place is Rob, obviously would sit pretty, but wears a mask. Then we have Lucas in third and Scott in fourth. So
last.
Yeah, it's very
hey, come on, Lucas. Just call it fourth, mate. All right. Hold on. Before we get out of it, though, let me hold on. Where are we? There we go. Don't disrespect the reigning defending champ. All right, do not disrespect me. There we go. Don't disrespect the reigning defending champ. I'm looking for that this year. I mean, it's not looking likely in a moment, granted, but we'll see.
Well, there's a lot of premium live events to come, isn't there? And WWE, can I have solo cam for this, actually? Dan, give me solo cam.
Oh, here we go.
Spotlight.
What's going on here?
So, do you remember WWE have a champion, a holder of the Intercontinental Championship? That is one Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, yeah.
Can you please give him a championship title defense on pay-per-view? Or sorry, premium live event, please.
Yes,
just do it.
Yes.
It has been 35 years since he has last defended it on pay-per-view. And just please give the guy a match. He is infinitely talented and infinitely one of the best wrestlers you got in the company, and is holding a championship which everyone, has some sort of connection to, because like we were fond of it growing up. It's always been a workhorse belt. So please, just give him a match. Give him a time to do what he does best and wrestle a match on a premium live event. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you use your space wisely there, mate. As a plea, a heartfelt plea from all of us at this channel. The IC title and Shinsuke both deserve more. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good place to end it, to be fair. I mean, that was very well spoken. And hopefully when Vince gets around to listening to this while he's
come the build up, we'll be predicting it. Yeah, can't wait.
While he's sitting there ripping up the script for Raw on Monday, and then doing the same on NXT, and then the same on SmackDown.
Someone to give him a note and say, "This is what Lucas said."
Listen to that man.
Yeah.
So, for now that is everything, guys. So thank you to Scott and Lucas for joining me. Thank you guys for your comments and for sticking by with us.
It's been fun.
We will see you obviously for the Royal Rumble build-up show. That's from next Saturday from 9 p.m. So for now, that is everything, guys. Take care, and we will see you next weekend. See you later.
Bye for now.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.